mate? How are you?
Not too bad, lads. Not too bad.
Sweet. Riley, thank you so much for coming on. We're really looking forward to, I guess, hearing your story, what you're going through, and raising awareness for MND, this disease. And yeah, thanks so much for joining us, mate. You've had a massive week, obviously. Like yesterday with the Pies win, your son being involved with Collingwood throughout the week. Like, can you talk us through how that happened? I saw
Yeah,
a clip with Darcy Moore and your young fella.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on there?
So, a friend of mine, Holly Adams, Sammy Adams' sister, has a friend who I think she's like the assistant to Craig Kelly, the CEO, or something like that, something along those lines. But Holly was talking to her one day and telling her about my situation, and ended up talking about how much Zig, my 4-year-old son, loves footy and everything footy and the Pies and all that sort of stuff. She said, just wondering if you guys would be interested in coming down to training on Wednesday and like having a tour and meeting all the boys. And then also wondered whether Zig would be interested in running out through the banner. And I honestly had tears in my eyes when I read it, because yeah, we went in there on Wednesday last week and again got the red carpet rolled out for us. And yeah, he met all the boys, and he was the water boy at one point. They were in between breaks in training. He was running water out to some of the boys, and yeah, it was just crazy.
Wow.
So yeah, it led into yesterday. So we went up to the footy, down under the ground, and walked out through the race. And my wife and daughter were in the guard of honour thing, like along the side where the players run out, and sister and brother-in-law weasel their way in there too. Yeah, Zig was just
Good man.
buzzing. He was honestly levitating. Like he had the best day in the world. He ran out with them and high-fived them all, and when he ran back over to me after they ran through, and he gave me the biggest hug, and he said, "Dad, this is the best day ever of my life ever." And I burst into tears.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Mate. Did you burst into tears?
Yeah, I did, mate. Yeah, I did. I just looking at his face, like I couldn't.
Oh,
The smile that he had on his face was from ear to ear, and it'll stick in the memory bank for a long time, and probably be pretty hard to knock off top spot, to be honest. So the Bombers, man, but yeah, Collingwood have done a pretty bloody good job there. So, but,
I didn't want to like Collingwood, but I think they've earned a couple brownie points now.
Oh, for sure.
After that performance.
Sure, giving Ziggy the best day of his life. Absolutely.
Yeah, did Ziggy? It's amazing. And mate, just on, MND, like getting into your story, did you know much about the disease before you were diagnosed? Like, obviously we had the MND round and all of that. Like, what was your sort of perception on it all before you sort of had to deal with it front on?
Yeah, I mean, the only real time I'd heard about it or known about it was through the Fight MND, the Neil Danaher stuff with the footy. I mean, it's pretty rare. Although I've sort of come to realise that it's quite. I mean, it's pretty prevalent in today's society, I suppose you could say. But yeah, I didn't really know too much about it at all. I watched the Big Freeze, and as everyone does, and it's a pretty inspirational sort of story. And then when I sort of first heard the words, I mean, it's still now. I don't think I processed it properly, and I don't think you're any sort of person. Like it's pretty sort of confronting. Those 3 little letters are pretty heavy, no matter how you hear them. So to hear them from the was pretty crazy. But I'm looking at it. I suppose I'm taking a bit of inspiration from Neil Danaher and having his attitude towards it. I don't want to. I'm not the person to dwell on things, and I'm a pretty positive sort of person as it is, and I'm just sort of cranking it up a few notches. And really, it's quite cliche to say, but I am taking it day by day and not looking too far into the future, and being too concerned about what may come or what's going to happen in the next 6 to 12 to however long I'm going. So I spent a bit of time I suppose, dwelling on it, but shit, you can't not. But yeah, mentally, I'm
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good. And you mentioned the last 4 to 5 months. Like, what has that sort of been like? So many ups and downs, receiving news like that. If
Yeah.
you can sort of take us back to, I guess, the diagnosis when you first sort of found out. Like, what was that initial period like?
Yeah, so I first, at the very beginning of the year, I went back to work, and I'll start right at the start. I got, I had a bit of sort of like grip strength weakness in my left hand. Um, I didn't really think too much of it, and then sort of hung around for about a week or two, and then I started getting a bit sort of proppy in my left leg, and again didn't really think too much of
Yeah.
it. And then I was at work one day and I was on the ground. I'm a cabinet maker, so I was on the ground and I had my drills on the ground, and I tried to help like lift myself up with my drills, and my left arm collapsed on me, and I didn't have enough sort of reaction time or reflexes to stop myself from falling. So the first thing that hit the ground was my shoulder and my head, and after that I thought, well, geez,
Oh.
that's not normal. I better go to the quack here and see what's going on. So I went to the GP. And I got a CT scan. They said they'll rule out stroke and aneurysm, which hearing those words were pretty sort of like a big slap in the face, obviously. It really was quite confronting. But after that, the doctor was just like, oh, well, I don't know, yeah, she didn't really say too much. She said, I don't know if it happens again or if things progress, come and see me. And then I think it was about 3 or 4 days later, my left leg just was constantly sort of weaker. It was very hard to describe the feel and what was going on. It was just like, when you sit on your foot for a while and your foot goes numb and you can't really feel it. That's kind of what my knee felt like. My knee wasn't just doing what it was supposed to be
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
So I went back to the doctor and she said, all right, well, I'll refer
yeah.
you to a neuro. So went and saw a neuro. I think it might have been 3 weeks after that, which was pretty full on because it was 3 weeks of sitting in limbo and not really knowing what the hell was going on, and things sort of progressing and getting a little bit worse. And then finally got
Did
into.
you have any inclination at all?
Well, the doctor did actually say to me then. Sorry, I left that part out. The doctor did say that my symptoms are similar to the beginnings of MND, but also at the same time, my symptoms
Yeah,
are to 1,000 other things as well. So she didn't say yes, it is
Yeah.
then, and but yeah, I had it in my mind at that point, which was pretty scary. And then yeah, went to the neuro and
yeah.
No doubt.
he did like a physical, just like a physical exam, and he was donged me with his little reflex thing, and after probably took about half an hour, and he sat down and he said, look, it's not good. I do think that it is MND. I want you to do a bunch of tests because at the moment there's no particular test where you can that they can do and it says yes or no you've got it. There's just no way to actually properly diagnose it. They just rule everything else out.
Yeah.
So I did an MRI, a lung
Yeah.
function test, a thing called a nerve conduction test, which was horrible. They stabbed me with needles about 50 times and listened to my muscles. I got one up into my
Oh,
tongue,
what?
stuck the needle right up under my chin into my tongue, which was pretty cool. Went back and saw him about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, and that's when he said, "Yeah, I'm going to diagnose you with MND." So, yeah, I mean, it was a big punch in the face, huge slap in the face. My wife Stace came with me as well, and we both just sort of sat there and cried for a good
Yeah.
10 minutes, and then probably the 2 weeks following that as well. But in that
Yeah.
diagnosis, I think I went into a bit of denial, or just didn't want to let it sort of yeah, didn't want to think it really, and I think
Yeah.
for 2
Yeah.
weeks was quite numb about it all. The neuro actually said, I advise you to get another opinion, so he referred me to another neurologist a place in Caulfield, which is like the hub for MND, and they've got all the services, all the different things you need throughout your battle with MND. So I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks after I saw him, I went and saw them again, and they again said that they agreed with the diagnosis and sort of confirmed it, I suppose. But I mean, yeah, I did my time being down in the dumps about it, and yeah, like I said earlier, I'm a pretty positive person. So it didn't take me too long to change my view on it and sort of think about the now rather than the then. So
Yeah.
it's yeah.
I mean, it's like anything. Even, I mean, obviously, this is like the most extreme it could probably be. But when you receive bad news or something bad happens, I guess you have to allow yourself to feel it, probably to the fullest, so that you can then probably change the mindset and the outlook on it, and start to then move forward in a
Yeah.
positive way and figure out how to.
And Riley, for the listeners that might not know what MND is, are you able to sort of enlighten us on what maybe the doctor would have been telling you throughout this diagnosis, just so we can get a good grasp on what you might have been feeling in those moments?
Yeah, look, I can't give you the technical details about it all. It's a disease that attacks your neurons, I'm pretty sure. People are probably going to fact check here, but what it does, it's a degenerative disease, so it'll slowly but surely take over your body and sort of you lose function and eventually it just sort of shuts down. Really, your organs just sort of shut down, and everything else shuts down, and it's currently incurable at the moment. They don't have they don't have a cure for it, and they don't have a test for it either because there's just not enough known about it, which is the big thing that Fight MND are all about. They've obviously brought it right into the spotlight over the last 11 years that they've been doing the big freeze.
Yeah,
for sure.
So yeah, there's huge efforts at the moment going into raising money around finding a cure, which everyone's probably quite aware of because it's spoken about quite a bit with the big freeze stuff. The technicalities of it, mate, I can't really tell you too much, but it's something that will eventually just slowly but surely, get you, which is pretty shit. But
and yeah,
Mate.
I can't even really fathom to. I mean, only
And to have the mindset you have, like, it's a testament to you, mate. Like, to be able to come out of that period of, soaking in it and, go in and live your life the way you are now, and creating awareness for it and having the positive outlook. It's a testament to you, because I just know how tough that would be.
Yeah, well, the 2 or 3 weeks that I mentioned before about dwelling on it was a sort of selfish few weeks, I think. Probably not selfish. I don't think anyone would call it selfish, but I really sort of felt on it.
No.
A big part of the switch in my mentality was around my family and my kids. Like I actually lost my mum when I was 12, so I sort of know what it's like for kids to not have parents around and stuff like that. And in my mind, I thought, well, you know what? While I'm physically able and while I'm sort of still up and about and still kicking, I want to try and be as good as I can for the kids and the family and hopefully, I mean, they're still very young. They're only 4 and 2, so I mean, Ziggy would probably remember yesterday for the rest of his life, but I want him to still have sort of chunks of me doing stuff with him and being as up and about as I can. So that's really what I'm sort of riding on at the moment. That's what's keeping me going and keeping me positive, because I don't want to turn into a big bag of poo for the next 6 months, and then if it does progress fast or slow or however it's gonna progress, I don't want to sit back and not be able to do things and wish that I did things when I can. So there's no time for me to be too down about it. I feel that's the mentality I got at the moment. So
That's it, mate.
And can you take us sort of into that sort of, I mean, you're in that period now where you're trying to, I guess, make the most of it with your kids. Like, what are you actively trying to do? And has there been any significant like lifestyle changes that you weren't doing in the past before you had this knowledge?
Oh, look, not too much, mate. I'm not working at the moment. I haven't worked for about 2 months now. But early on, Stacey and I said to a few people that asked what they want, what we want from them, and we said that our main focus is to keep our kids' lives as normal as possible. I didn't want to change anything too hugely so that they, like my 2-year-old's obviously a bit oblivious to most things. All she thinks about at the moment is Bluey and colouring in with her texters and that sort of thing. So we didn't want things to change too drastically and like sort of shake their lives up. So we're just just concentrating on them and trying to. We've got a couple of holidays booked. Just trying to live possible. That's what the neuro said to me when I walked out. We asked whether there was anything we needed to change, like diet or not do too many things and stuff like that. And they told us to live life as normally as possible, which is a bit of a cop out after telling me 3 sentences ago that I have MND. But that's sort of what we're doing at the moment. And getting to the footy each week, local footy. Zig's obsessed with the local footy, and Stace still plays netball at Cribby, so that's our highlight of the week. But the kids have got they do swimming lessons, and Zig does a sport class on Friday, and Zig's going to kinder now. So we're keeping things pretty normal, but at the same time, it's we're sort of planning for things to be done so we can make some memories, like yesterday and. This Saturday will be another one of those sort of days, I think. Just trying to keep things pretty normal.
And you mentioned, mate, you're unable to work at the moment. What's the current symptoms you're dealing with at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm a cabinet maker, which is a pretty physical sort of operation. You got to use all and every limb you have, pretty much. So my left hand, I've probably got about, I don't know, maybe 30% use in that. My fingers are a bit sort of funny. I've got no grip strength in it. My coordination's really, really sort of gone. I've got my left leg, just as I said earlier, just doesn't want to work sometimes, or most of the time now. I actually found out recently that I thought it was my knee, but my foot. When you're walking, my foot, the front of my foot doesn't lift up as I'm taking a step, and it sort of wants to drag along the ground. They call it foot drop or foot. I can't remember what they call it, but I've got full body twitches, like all my muscles and my body twitch constantly. Well, not all of them, but most of them. My left and right bicep are the worst. They're pretty much vibrating 24/7, and they have been vibrating 24/7 since about February. I luckily haven't got too much wrong with the right side of my body, which is handy because I'm right-handed, and I'm able to still do most things. I can drive still. I can still do quite a bit of stuff. It's just everything's sort of slowing down a little bit. The things in your life that you don't think about doing, just like, I don't know, doing your button jeans or opening a packet of chips or something like that. Those things are starting to become a little bit sort of trickier. But I'm still able to function and sort of walk and get around and stuff, which is good.
Yeah.
So,
mate, we talk about all the health hardships you're going through, but losing the ability to work, and you've got a young family. Like, how does that affect you financially? It's probably something we don't talk about with the MND community. Obviously, it's such a big health complication, but the financial complication as well. It's how are you dealing with that? Does does that put pressure on you? Like, how's your family cooperating?
Yeah, it does, mate, and it has. Anyone these days with a house or kids or anything would know how financially hard it is to get by, even if you are working. So it was a big thing that I was concerned about
Yeah.
early. I tried to go back to work a couple of days just because we needed some money, and I just couldn't really do it. We've been so incredibly lucky to have people around us that have set up a few things. Lily Cook's one of them, Gemma Wisey's wife.
Superstar.
I think there's
Yep.
probably a few people behind the scenes, but I'm not too aware of them. But they set up a little thing. It's probably 4 to 6 weeks ago now, and got a heap of people together and got them to transfer money weekly into an account thing that's sort of been like a wage coming in for us, I suppose, just to pay the bills and pay
Yep.
for everyday life things. And haven't actually said this
Yeah.
to anyone, but if that didn't happen, we probably would have put our house up on the market and moved into Stace's mum and dad's granny flat that they got out in the backyard of their place. So I'll never be able to repay or thank everyone enough for that, because it's really got us out of a situation that probably would have been pretty real if it didn't happen. So it's been massive, mate. The financial support as well as everything else has been enormous. So it's quite surreal. It's pretty hard to even imagine.
Yeah.
How much has gone into us, into me and my family. So yeah, I'll probably just cry the whole
Well,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we want to, I can imagine, we want to touch on the support aspects a bit more now as well.
Yep.
Obviously, you mentioned Lily Cook. She's been doing an amazing job at the footy club, getting people involved to raise money for yourself. She's set up a foundation, the Clifford Foundation, which we are going to put the link and the details to that in the description of this podcast. So anyone listening out there can throw their support around you for the road ahead, and what your family is going to, have to do to support you and keep you guys going. So, that's been enormous. And even the local football club, that whole community, like how has it been on your end seeing the support from the footy club, from your wife, from your close friends and family? Like, how much does that mean to you?
Oh, mate, I can't put it into words. The footy club thing for a start was, I knew it was coming for a long time, or quite a while. Lil hit us up early and asked me whether I'd be all right with it. I'm not really a self-promoting sort of person. I don't like to get up and say poor me. And for a long time, I felt like it was me just putting my hand out, and then I with my mentality switch around, not thinking about all that sort of stuff, I changed my thinking into that people want to help my family rather than me just saying give me money sort of thing. It became very apparent.
That's what community's all about, mate.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what everyone's doing it for. And I mean the support from Cribby, which is an unbelievable community. I've been involved with the club for probably close to 15 or 16, 17 years maybe. Started my under 18s there back in whenever the bloody hell that was. So I know how much the club can get around people when they need it. And for me to be on the receiving end of it, or for us to be on the receiving end of it is just, it's insane. I'll never be able to thank or repay anyone for everything that's going on. So that's been massive, been bloody massive.
I know you feel like you maybe have to and everybody does. It's natural human behavior to want to thank and repay people, but sometimes you just have to sit back and accept the good human will.
Oh, mate, because that's
of
just
wanting to help people that need it.
I know if I was in your position, Riley, that's, I'd want to be treated the same. I'd want to be treated the same way in our football club, and I think that's why people come to communities, because we're all volunteers. We all want to give our time, and you feel a part of something. And
they've got a massive day this weekend. So on Saturday, for everyone listening to this podcast or watching, Crib Point has their Riley's round, they're calling it. So there's going to be an ice plunge at the end of the game. David Neitz is coming into the club as well to have a chat and get behind the bar. Riley, obviously you and your family are going to be there as well. And hopefully it's a cracking game of football, and there's going to be a lot of donations, lots of items for auction, lots of different activations to try and raise as much money as possible for the Clifford Foundation. So if you're not doing anything this Saturday and you want to get behind Riley and support, come down and watch the game of football and get amongst the donations, because it's going to be huge. What does that day look like for you, Riley? What have you heard so far?
Not too much, mate. I've had pretty regular chats with Lily about it all, who's been one of the main drivers behind it. And from the get-go, I said that I don't want to be the face of it. I don't want to stand up in front of all the people and tell my story and all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, I want to be quite involved in it because it's going to be bloody good. We'll be quite early because Stacey's playing in D grade in the netball, so I'll get there pretty early. So I'm not really taking too many expectations into the day. Like I said before, I'll probably just cry the whole day because I'll be talking to people and seeing all the support and all the stuff that people are doing for myself and family. Will probably get a bit overwhelming at times. No, it's going to be bloody good, mate. I've got a lot of people that have said to me that they're coming down. I haven't seen them for a while, so there'll be some good catch ups and. I don't know. I might just get plastered the whole day and make a day of it.
Bloody oath. Hell yeah.
I'd do the same.
Have some fun, Riley. That's it.
I'd do the same. Hopefully we get the win for you as well.
Oh, mate. It'll go off if we get the win.
No doubt we'll be playing for you.
I think a lot of people probably fall into the trap, and I do as well, of thinking we've got forever on this planet. I just wanted to ask you, going through the experience you have in the last 5 months, have you got a message for everyone out there going about their lives? Have you come to realize what's really important in this life? Have you got anything you want to sort of keep out there?
It's been a good slap of perspective, really. It's as you said, I feel like you go through life and you don't really think about bad things happening and your life ending and all that sort of stuff. Some people just sort of roll through the motions, and I've been one of those people for the last 10 or so years. Just go to work, go to footy, have beers with your mate.
We all have, mate.
Sort of thing. The perspective gives you something like this is it's become more and more apparent over time as starting to get a bit trickier. I've sort of realised that taking advantage of what you've got is massive. It's very easy to not do that when you don't realise it. I don't really have too many inspirational quotes for you or anything like that, but it's
mate, I think it's all right.
Living your life is one thing that you should really, absolutely do. And I'm going to try and do it while I can. Keep kicking on.
That's it, isn't it? I think it's just gratefulness and living in the present and just living like you don't have tomorrow. Because the reality is, I could go and get hit by a car tomorrow, and that's it. I think everyone sort of lives their life like they're living to 100, and that's just not the case for a lot of people.
Yep, bloody oath. Yep. Yeah, the grateful aspect is a big one too. I've really sort of become aware of how lucky I am to be in the position I am, and all the support is a really good sort of show of that. It's really opened my eyes up to how good my life is and what I've got around me. And everyone that is around me is in the same boat because, we're privileged to live in this great country. There you go. There's an inspirational quote for you. Privileged to be able to do when we want to do it. And, yeah, if you don't take advantage of it, you'll regret it when you don't have the chance to do it. So yeah, get after it, eh?
Yeah.
Well, mate, you're an inspiration in my book.
Get after it.
Your story's just it's really brought some perspective for me. So, mate, we appreciate you so much coming on.
It's been amazing chatting to you. I know, for us, we have heard about it through Lily, and I know you've got your support system. So, to be able to get you on and have a deep dive into what you're going through, I'm sure a lot of people want to support and they want to know what's going on and obviously what they're donating to. I think this is a really good way of getting your story out there in an efficient way, and people can go and have a look and a listen to what you're going through. I think it's really important, and thanks so much for being so open about it as well. It's such I can't even, I obviously can't, we can't relate to it, but
I know all the listeners, they're going to take so much out of what you've just said. Obviously it raises so much awareness for what MND is and what, that means for people with MND, the lifestyle changes and everything that comes with it. Yeah.
Can't wait for this weekend. It's going to be an absolutely ripping day down at the local footy at Crib Point. We're going to raise a shitload of money.
Fucking oath.
So get on the beers down there, Riley.
Everyone, go and have a beer with Riley. If you're not playing, go and have a beer with him.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys can throw your support around Riley. We'll put the details in the description. Thanks again, mate.
No worries at all, boys. Thanks very much for having me on. Thanks for your support as well. It's getting on a podcast like this is probably going to spread the news a bit further as well. So I appreciate it a lot, mate, and can't thank you enough for the support. And yeah, we'll pump these pricks Saturday, eh? Although, actually, sorry, they're not pricks because...
Pump these potato farmers. Let us have the win.
Yeah. Well, I know Dean Kent's, he's getting plunged, so shout out to Devon Meadows for showing their support as well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that'll be elite. Thanks again, mate.
Not a problem at all, boys. Thanks very much.